Tesla seems to be facing a lawsuit nearly every day of the week these days, but a recent class action against the company has failed, spectacularly so. Here's the details, and here's why it's been refused. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. Great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Tesla shareholders, by the way, this is not, people who are just trying to attack the company, or are they? Anyway, Tesla shareholders took part in a lawsuit over a so-called toxic workplace at Tesla, blaming Tesla's directors and CEO for basically creating a culture of failure, they say. Strange that you'd invest in a company and believe that this were the case. But here are the details. Tesla shareholders who invested money to try to gain more money out of Tesla, apparently, have been forced to drop this lawsuit over the company's so-called toxic workplace, according to a federal court ruling. They failed to prove that they were exempt from initially discussing the matter with Tesla's board of directors and other elements of their claim. Basically, the judge believes that they're unfairly attacking numerous staff at Tesla and blaming them for things that are either imaginary or simply not their fault. A Tasmanian says this: Tesla investors cannot bring a lawsuit against CEO Elon Musk and other directors and other staff at Tesla, alleging they contributed to a toxic workplace culture. A federal court has ruled this week. Shareholders were unable to prove they were exempt from the original requirement for the company's board of directors to sue, Bloomberg reports. This statement was made by Judge David Alan Ezra in an opinion docketed Monday in the US District Court for the Western District of Texas. Now, I've got to say big kudos to Judge David Alan Ezra. Generally, judges, if they don't want to be a part of this kind of scenario, they basically kind of push it out of their own way and kind of pass it off in order to not have to deal with it. But this judge has basically said to these shareholders, actually, guys, you're a bunch of muppets. Clearly, you're being greedy, and this lawsuit makes no sense. And he basically said, get lost. Anyway, such a ruling suggests that the lawsuit was improperly prepared, say experts, and that at least some of the defendants are unlikely to be responsible for what they are accused of. Or maybe all of them are not responsible for what they're accused of. In this lawsuit, investors said the company's directors and executives caused financial and reputational damage to Tesla. They argued that the company not only tolerated but even encouraged a so-called toxic workplace culture grounded in racist and sexist abuse and discrimination. However, shareholders did not approach the board directly before filing the suit. Basically, I believe the judge thinks that the claims are just complete nonsense. Now, what I'm curious to know is, do you agree with these shareholders? Do you think that Tesla's directors and CEO have basically created a toxic, sexist, racist culture at Tesla's workforces within their factories? I'm going to just put it straight out there. I categorically disagree with these claims. I think there's always going to be a few idiots in every workplace, and that's just normal part of dealing with life. I think there's a whole lot you can do about that. You can fire those people, but ultimately there's always going to be naysayers and negative people. And to be honest, I am sick to death of this insane obsession in the United States, and now it's becoming this way a bit in Australia as well, where people are just obsessed with suing. Sue. And someone even said to me, hey Sam, I know you were involved in a situation in the past where you can gain financially if you join us in this lawsuit, that we're going to be, just jump in on this lawsuit, mate. You can gain from this. I reckon there's a good chance we'll win this. And I said, you know what? Sometimes it's not about what you get. It's about what you're becoming. What are you becoming by making these incredible claims? By viewing the world in such a negative way, by painting an entire company basically as being this negative, toxic place. Personally, I can't stand the word toxic. I think it's just been misused, overused, but that's me. I want to know what you guys think. Anyway, the defendants asked for dismissal on the grounds that investors did not ask the board of directors to act. Moreover, they also failed to show that their appeal to the board of directors would have been futile even if it had taken place. Basically, the investors are saying, oh, well, if we had have asked the board of directors, it would have been useless. They would have done nothing. But I guess the judge here was saying there wasn't actually really any real issues that the directors would have faced anyway. In July, Magistrate Judge Dustin Howell agreed with Tesla and he recommended dismissal. To determine whether a demand would be futile, courts consider whether each director received a material personal benefit from the alleged misconduct, or if each person accused in the case actually faced a substantial likelihood of liability on any of the claims. Basically, if more than half of the board, it were believed by the judge, would be found guilty, then it was reasonable for the case to go ahead. The judge said, it's very unlikely that even half of the board would be found guilty of your claims, and you're just trying to benefit from, obviously, Tesla doing well as a company, so he refused the case. Now, regarding interest and independence, Ezra said there were fewer directors to consider that in the report. Basically, the report was so badly put together that it didn't make sense. Some of the directors had already left the board of directors before the lawsuit was filed. Investors' argument that Musk's dominance on the board affects the independence of other directors, that was apparently refused as well. Apparently, the judge said the plaintiffs did not demonstrate Elon Musk's liability in the case. And this is quite a surprise to me. Hopefully, these investors have to pay a bill for this. Man, I'm hoping that this wasn't a case where they all jumped on and were like, hey, let's make some money here, let's make a quick buck. And then, the law firm basically covers the cost, and the law firm hopes that it will go somewhere, they'll make some money, and eventually they'll get a bit of a payoff for investors and the law firm, or a big payoff. Hopefully both bodies, the investors and the law firm, had to pay out, because this is just a waste of time. And what really annoys me is this. Lawsuits like this in the United States are killing production. Companies having to deal with these lawsuits on a near daily basis is costing America, in my opinion, possibly hundreds of billions of dollars of production. It is like a virus. And this virus, in my opinion, is only getting worse and worse and worse. What is truly toxic is this virus, not Tesla's workplace. But hey, I could be wrong. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching.